The snow fell in steady silence across the Montana wilderness, blanketing the land in a hush only winter can bring. 42-year-old Samuel Crawford stood on the porch of his log cabin, a steaming cup of coffee warming his hands as he looked out over the vast ranch he'd tended alone for nearly a decade. Since his brother's passing, Samuel had thrown himself into hard work and discipline, building a thriving cattle business from sheer grit. But along the way, he'd traded away something precious: companionship. With no family left and the nearest neighbor miles away, Samuel had long accepted solitude as his way of life. Until that December evening, when the quiet was broken by a sound he hadn't heard in years, the distant clatter of wagon wheels through the snow. Curiosity stirred. Who would travel these roads in the middle of a blizzard? Pulling on his coat and lighting a lantern, Samuel stepped out into the swirling wind. Through the flurries, he saw a lone figure driving a small wagon, struggling to keep control of two exhausted horses. As she came closer, the lantern light revealed a young woman, her face pale with cold, her shawl dusted with snow. "Ma'am," Samuel called out, raising his voice above the wind. "You shouldn't be out in weather like this." The woman reined in her horses, her voice trembling. I'm sorry to trouble you, sir. I've lost my way. I was trying to reach Cedar Falls, but the road vanished in the storm." Samuel could see she was freezing. "Cedar Falls is still hours away," he said gently. "You won't make it tonight. Come inside and warm up, I insist." She hesitated, torn between manners and survival. "I don't wish to impose. It wouldn't be proper for me to stay here alone with a stranger." Samuel gave a faint smile. "Ma'am, propriety won't keep you alive out here. Please, you'll be safe." At last, she agreed. Samuel helped her down from the wagon, noticing she carried little more than a satchel and an old carpet bag, the belongings of someone starting over. Inside the cabin, warmth returned to her cheeks as she stood by the fire. "My name is Catherine Walsh," she said softly. "You've been very kind, Mr. Crawford." Over a simple stew, Catherine explained her story. She had traveled from Kansas, answering an ad from a man in Cedar Falls, a mail-order bride arrangement. But when she arrived, she discovered he had married someone else just weeks before. She had nowhere to go. Samuel listened quietly, feeling her pain. Here was a woman who had risked everything for a chance at a better life, only to be met with heartbreak. "What will you do now?" he asked. "I'm not sure," Catherine admitted. "I can sew, cook, keep books, but I have no connections here." As the storm howled outside, two strangers shared their stories beside the fire, one a man who had chosen solitude, the other a woman forced into it. By morning, something unspoken had already begun to grow between them. Respect, perhaps, or understanding. When Samuel awoke, the smell of coffee and frying bacon filled the cabin. Catherine had already been up for hours, tidying the kitchen and preparing breakfast. "I hope you don't mind," she said shyly. "It's my way of saying thank you." Samuel smiled, moved by her thoughtfulness. "I haven't had a meal like this in years." Over breakfast, he made her a proposal, not of marriage, but of practicality. "This ranch is too much for one man," he said. "You need work and shelter. I need help keeping this place running. Stay on as my housekeeper. Room, board, and wages, with your independence intact." Catherine thought for a long moment. "That's a generous offer, Mr. Crawford, and yes, Basat, I accept." Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Catherine brought warmth and life into the cabin, reorganizing, cleaning, cooking, and creating order from Samuel's rough routines. Evenings by the fire became their quiet ritual, filled with talk of books, memories, and dreams. And slowly, without either of them meaning to, friendship deepened into something far more profound. One spring evening, Catherine told Samuel she'd been offered a teaching job in Colorado. "It's what I always wanted," she said softly, "but I don't know if I can leave this place." "Leave you?" Samuel's heart ached at the thought. "You should follow your heart," he said. She smiled faintly. "I am." For the first time, she called him by his first name. "Samuel, what if we were to change our arrangement? What if we became partners? In every way that matters." His heart pounded. "Catherine, are you saying I'm saying I've come to love you?" she whispered. "And I believe you feel the same." He took her hand, eyes shining. "I have 4 months. I just didn't know how to tell you." 6 months later, they were married in the little church in Cedar Falls, the same town where Catherine's heartbreak had begun. Now the place where her new life truly started, as they danced beneath the soft glow of lanterns. Samuel asked, "Do you ever regret how we met?" Catherine laughed. "Never. If Mr. Brennan hadn't broken his promise, I never would have found you." And years later, as they watched their children play in the yard of the ranch they had built together, Samuel and Catherine often thought back to that snowy night, when a simple act of kindness changed to lonely lives forever. Because sometimes, love doesn't arrive when you're searching for it. It finds you when you're simply trying to do what's right. Whispers of Kindness, where every story reminds us that compassion can change a life. And sometimes, even two.